Right, why don't you start out engine 7 for now? You can take it out of priority 2. We're investigating. Receive.
Well, hello, gang. It's Bob in 1KPR, sitting in the shop, avoiding yard work today. And we come up with something a little bit different this time. I've had this Uniden SDS200. They're kind of top of the line scanner, all in one, does a lot of decoding and all that stuff. If you're interested, go online, look at the Uniden SDS200. It's pretty much up-to-date radio. Anyhow, it's been sitting portable on my bench in the shack on the desk there, and I'm never happy with internal loudspeakers. If you can, always use something external. So I was running it through a little powered computer speakers to make it sound more reasonable for long-term listening, and that's a big help. But I thought there were some other things we could do with this little rascal. So typically for turning it from a single unit that would be in the car or on the, bedside table or whatever, I wanted to put it into the system. So I built it into a rack system there that now has its own audio and some other controls that make for long-term monitoring or surveillance, or just listening to your local safety people, police, fire, EMS, and so on, whatever. Just make it a little easier for the shack. Now, before you say anything about me ruining its portability, if you look down inside here, you're going to see... Well, let me see if I can get to here. 2 brackets that are on each side, those silver brackets. All you have to do is turn this thing butt side up, take the 4 screws out, go to the back of the radio here, and unplug the power antenna and speaker. And you can walk away with the unit just like it came from the factory, except for the fact that it's got Bob's little brackets on it, which also come off. And you can put it in the car or on your bedside table. Or you can bring it back and put it into your shack into this beautiful little rack-mounted system. How clever, huh? Oh, the mind wobbles, I think Kelly Bundy said that. Anyhow, I've got no intention of selling this. I do know a guy that might be interested. He's got a lot of money, and he likes toys, and I like him for... I like him for a few reasons. He's been a good, loyal customer. If he wants one, I'll make him one. If he doesn't, I have this one. This will serve at the amateur radio club for when we do emergency drills or whatever, Aries and all that stuff, or we'll just keep it in the shack here. Okay, so what did Bob do? Well, we decided to put in RF gain. This unit has some AGC going on in there, a lot of AGC, and I'm not sure exactly what. I can't get a schematic of the radio, but in playing with it, I could tell you that if you come down here and you look at the RSSI, and then right up here, there will be, there they are, the bars, like your cell phone. So there's something going on when I change signal level feed to the radio, where these things don't always track. So I know there must be a lot of AGC going on. But anyhow, to keep from overloading the front end, because we can, I've got some FM flamethrowers around here, broadcast type guys that are kind of hot. So I built this in, and of course you can bypass it if you... if you're overloaded, you can go anywhere from a dead short, which just allows leakage signals to come in, all the way up to 10 wide open. Or if you're in doubt, just go to bypass and this whole module's out of the circuit. I call this IF gain rather, but it's really tapped off the detector. I'm using the radio's audio, and all that does is give you a relative indication from the most powerful that you're going to hear to the weakest down in the noise signals. So I've calibrated it that way, center calibration. You can see it's trying to dance around now a little bit. And of course you could change the sensitivity to plus 12, minus 12. Antennas. I put a calibrate antenna in the front where I was using my signal generator to test this thing. It's here right now. I'm feeding this. This thing is a disc cone up on the roof. But then I have position 1 and 2, and that's back here. And what those are is 1 is a B and C, and 2 is an F fitting. In position 2, I've just got this little piece of green wire sticking about 1.5 feet long because I was actually playing around trying to study the AGC between the two antennas, and it's not making a whole lot of sense to me right now, except that they probably have an awful lot of AGC. Excuse me. I've said that before, but there'll be more on that if I figure it out. It'd be nice if I get a schematic. All right, over on the audio side, I've got AF gain, same thing here, though it's calibrated 0 dB and the calibration position. If we're going to do any recording or anything, that essentially is 0 dB, which is about 0.8 volts, 0.77 volts on a 600 ohm line, which is good for your digital recorder or whatever. I assume if a broadcaster was using this, he'd know exactly what he was sending back to the studio or rebroadcasting. But anyhow, I figured since I'm going to have an audio control, it may as well be calibrated and do it the right way. Of course, we get the indicators there. Oh, very good timing. They tell me what I'm sending out. I built in some filtering. If you're from, as Rush Limbaugh would say, if you're from Rio Linda, that's bass and treble. Low pass, high pass. And monitor level, if we can get a focus here. And a switch that will give me... Oh, there. External speaker, internal speaker. I'm going to mount over in here. I'm going to mount a very nice wide range speaker once I build the cover for the unit. In the center position, it's strictly phones. I provided 3.5 millimeter and 1/4 inch for headphones. And, well, that's about it as far as the front panel goes. We get a little light on. And we'll go to the inside. You notice I've got some braided stuff here. This is all shielded back to the AC. See the plastic here with the dots, yellow dots? If you've seen my other videos, means high voltage AC don't touch. So I put some plastic on top. I got a little 12-volt regulator here attached to a jack in the back. So you can power it from your car battery or generator or something. But just to be safe, to protect the scanner, it's regulated down to 12 volts. So you get a little picture of that thing here. Here is their Uniden's power supply is in here. It's in there, and it's in a shielded box, and the reason is that I don't know why. They like to save some money. I guess that's the reason why, but there's no more linear supplies from these people. I say these people, these manufacturers. They're all shipping with switching supplies, and they're noisy. Now, because this system is FM, the noise doesn't bother them. But in my shack, it was raising heck with my receiver, so I've isolated. I've got it insulated here. I may put a pi filter in here to the AC, but I don't see a problem. The big problem was let me get my pointer. The big problem was on the output here. And if you look at this strip, I'm bringing all the voltage from this power supply out to this first. You see this first tab with the red wire to it. I don't want to stick anything metal in there. Right here. Okay. That then comes back to this guy, which is a pie filter. Here's the choke, 2 caps, and I've got some, these are 0.0 ones here. To take whatever hash is coming in right here from the switcher, coming out here, goes around this twisted wire, it comes back to this bus, and this bus is what feeds positive and negative. And again, I've got another little decoupling cap here. That's what feeds everything in the radio. So from this little white feed-through grommet out, everything has been bypassed through the pie filter in the power supply. Now, over here, you see 2 little transformers. That's because they give you a bridged audio output. You don't ever want to ground a bridged audio output because you'll get smoke. And Uniden may or may not be happy about that for fixing it for free. So what I did was I came out balanced into an isolation transformer, stepped it up to 70-volt line, stepped it back down to 4 to 8 ohms, and that blue wire, you can see it, that blue wire coming out here, now feeds the audio to the system. I'm currently running it. If you look over here, I got the volume at 20. That's about 2/3 full volume. That's a good place to be in terms of distortion and audio quality. That then comes to a Baxendall type tone board. Focus, there we go. And of course to the LED driver board, which is that guy right there. Yeah, pops right in. And the power amp, which is a little 2-watt affair down there with the red LED on it, the 2 blue terminals. That's a LM386. Good enough for our purposes. And that's connected to this knob. So, there you have it. This is the audio. This is the RFIF section. What else did we can shunt the antenna. If there's a storm coming by or it's nighttime or something, flip this down. Everything goes to ground. If you want to be double safe like me, you probably unplug antennas anyhow. I've added a power switch because with the old unit, or the old setup, power was from the volume control. That's now controlled over here. It's out of the way. And again, back to the RF gain. I want to go back to this. This is basically a shunt across the input to the radio antenna terminals. It works pretty good, but it's not as linear as I'd like it to be, and it's only effective, well, if you're in the near field or near a strong FM broadcaster, it's not going to work so good. Of course, I don't have the cover on here yet, so maybe that's the reason, but when you're playing with signals that are of moderate strength or less, it is effective. So my goal is to make it effective for the flamethrowers so that they're not overloading everything. But then, for the 3rd time, I'm going to mention, here we are back to the AGC mystery inside this radio. Uniden, if you're listening, send me a schematic, please. Anyhow, there it is. Oh, on the back. Speaker output, line output, if you're going to be running a recorder, and then detector or IF output, which was the controls I showed you up front. This is a direct output from the detector, so you've got raw audio. You're at the mercy of the level, whatever the radio is giving you, that's what you're getting. If you're using the line out here in the middle, that will give you the 0 dB we talked about, 0.8 volts at 600 ohms. And of course the speaker, it's good for anywhere from 2 ohms. I'm using one now that's 32 ohms, so that's pretty broad. And again, the two antennas, F, B, and C, and an auxiliary, a third one if you want to stick a little whip in here or something. Okay, there you are. Went real long. Hey, I want everybody to stay safe, enjoy. It's a fun hobby. Have fun with it. Don't catch the corona. Stay indoors and solder stuff. See you all later. Bob, N1KPR, my website, www.bobsamerica.com. If you like this, give me a thumbs up and maybe even join my channel if you like to. I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Bye-bye.